bottom of the screen, all that cool shit like that. So it has all those different like kind of little
Okay,
cool
you know, that's
features and
pretty.
things for you. So I don't know, that's another one. And Riverside's a lot of me and other people use just because we like it. So I mean, it's a preference thing based on what you want to use.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I think we're gonna start. Yeah.
Yeah, we live, we ready now. Hey man,
All right.
three.
Episode 5, man.
Facts.
Special
Episode
guest.
5. We got Mr. Pete here.
Somebody here.
How you feeling, Pete? How you feeling
So,
about joining us today?
Doing fantastic, fellas. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
yes,
Day Day, how you feeling about
you
being
want
here
to tell a
today?
little, you know, I say I'm back. You know what I'm saying? Back. Always showing up. Another day, another dollar.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mhm. How about you? How about you? You know what I'm saying? How was your weekend? How was your weekend, actually, bro? You come back off a weekend. How was your weekend?
My weekend was pretty great. Did a lot of learning this weekend. You know, just with
Always.
myself and stuff like that. It's always good to, help learn on yourself and learn on yourself daily. So I definitely got a lot of work
Yeah, for
in
sure.
this weekend, while working and stuff like that. So I think that was a great
That's
opportunity
good.
this weekend. How about you guys?
That's
How
good
about
for
what
sure.
was y'all weekends like?
Not too bad, man. Just doing the usual thing, recording as always. But it's good. Self-reflection is a great thing to do. You can always reflect on the things that happened. And you can teach yourself new things and maybe realize things you didn't know.
Facts.
Yeah,
How about you, Diddy?
facts. For me, this weekend is crazy. I did like a lot of game planning. Like I did like this is my first time ever.
Mm,
Like really like setting my week straight of like how I want my days to go as planned. So that was pretty dope for me. I'm proud of myself, and I've been living up to it. You know, I'm 2 days straight. You know, what I'm saying I've been doing good. So hopefully I stay strong for as long as I
yes, sir.
can.
Right.
Yes, sir. But you want to tell a little about yourself, Mr. Pete, for the people?
Sure, guys. I'm the host of Pete for Justice Anxiety. It's a mental health podcast. We basically cover everything. You think about whatever mental health is, we're talking about it. I started the show about a year and a half ago, and we are officially over 300 episodes for the show. Just keep going strong. I've got a calendar full of people down the road, and the reason why is because mental health needs to be talked about more. The fact that the three of us are even here right now having this conversation, we're already statistically above the rest. At 80% loss of suicide for men, and the fact that we just don't talk about it enough. And it's crazy to say that. It's like, okay, well, hey, we're 80%. Why don't we talk about it? Because we as men are always taught that it's not right to talk about your feelings. Even some of these ladies out here are gonna say the same thing. Oh well, I don't like a man that has feelings. It's not wrong with having feelings, and that's where Peter Anxiety comes in. It's like I create that safe space for people to come in, and we have those conversations. And I'm pretty much an open book. I met the fellas the other day. We talked about some things, and I'm pretty much an open book. My life is on a magnified scale on the internet, man. You could literally chat GPT me now. That's how crazy this thing has become, and it's screaming that demand that we need to talk about this more. So then, that's the whole point of this show. It's just like we bring up the topics that a lot of people want to talk about. And the great thing is too is that if traditional therapy isn't your thing, hey, I got other people on the show that come on, psychedelics, hypnotherapy, sound therapy, energy healing, all those kind of things. I cover all those topics just for you guys at home to look at and go, okay, well, cool. There's these different options I can try. If talk therapy doesn't feel like the right thing for me, here comes Pete for Anxiety. I'm introducing you to these people, and the great thing is that you get to hear more about me as I go, and I discuss my full life story with everybody. So I'm an open book. Most people can ask me any questions and things like that. People generally like that, though, the fact that I'm just really honest about things. But at the same time, it's like that authenticity is what brings people in, because they're like, okay, well, this guy's real. He deals with these kind of things. And then the people I meet, it's just that's the cherry in the icing on the top of the cake, because I get to meet people along the way. It's the greatest thing ever.
For sure, for sure. No, that's true. That's true. And it was really nice talking to you earlier, and I was saying
Definitely.
that was pretty cool. It's nice meeting new people, like you say, on this journey that we're on. First off,
Facts.
I just want to say, like, it's a pleasure to have you here, and I'm saying it's really nice to have somebody on the podcast to really talk about something that needs to be talked about. I really
Yeah.
agree. Like, I don't why we don't talk about our mental health enough. But I got a question for
Facts.
you. I got a quick question for you.
Go ahead.
What led you to like wanting to do this? Like, like what personal experience led you to doing it?
It's my own personal struggles, my own mental health. I deal with anxiety, depression. I have suicidal ideation. All those kind of things like that. ADHD. I deal with these things every day. PTSD was a new thing I had it recently, and I told you guys about that a little bit. Everybody else that didn't hear this story that hasn't watched that part of the show yet. I've experienced PTSD recently. Let me tell you, I hats off to anybody that does that shit every day, man. I don't know how y'all go through that. I honestly, it just broke me. Like, and it was the simplest thing. The phone call just, but, and it was just that's what it was. It was just an exploration to why we're not talking about these things more. Because when I searched the original show idea, I was like, all right, let's see what people are talking about. You see, doctor, 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 doctor. Okay, so where are the regular people talking about? Like me, I'm not trained in any way. I'm just a guy that's really big about mental health. And then I find out that other people aren't talking about it. So when I pitched this idea, I was telling the fellas about this. I got 150 responses to the first thing I ever said about this, and right there said that there's something there that needs to be talked about. It's like, and it's insane, like how many people just jumped all over this opportunity to come say it. Oh, let's talk about it. Not just doctors, not therapists. These are people that are coming to tell these stories to me, and these wild stories. We did a suicide prevention week where we did a bunch of videos. There's some on there. There's just some interesting stories that you're never going to believe you're hearing. Like the perspective of these people coming to share this on a magnified scale because they went to social media to talk about these things and then got turned down by the world. But I offer that safe space. The one rule is that I never judge anybody in my studio. If I invite you to come in, your story's personal. If there's something you don't want to talk about, and you mention it to me in the middle of the interview, hey, listen, let's talk about it. Okay, cool. We veer right away from it. I have no problem. I respect everybody's space. And that's what people love about the whole concept of the show is that I'm not afraid to ask questions. But if I get an answer that hey, I don't really want to talk about. Okay, cool. Let's scoot away from that. And then men's mental health actually was the main reason why this started because when I looked at statistics. I'm 40 years old, okay? So I'm in the second most likely to commit suicide of men. Now think about that thought right there, okay? I'm dealing with all the struggles I'm dealing with, all the things I'm dealing with all these years, and things like that. I'm in the second most likely category of people that are going to do it. Anything above that's like 60 to 70, that range and above, okay, maybe that makes a little more sense. Although, some people just kind of like at that point, they're like, I lived a great life, and I'm kind of, you know what I mean? You deal with those struggles as you go, but the 40-year range is a little too early for people to be checking out a life, and it's hard.
I have a question for you, Pete.
Yeah, go ahead, man. What's up?
So, out of all the experiences that you had, I know you had a lot of different experiences, like you said, talking with different people. So, what's like something that you've experienced, like a conversation with somebody that made you look at your own life differently? You know what I mean?
That's a fantastic question. So, okay, early in the first season, around November, I met a woman who is what she called herself the energy alchemist, okay? So I've always noticed this weird sensation I have when I get near people. It's like a tingling feeling. And I could never figure out what it was, and when I talked to her about it, it started making more sense. Like, then I found out I'm energy sensitive, and it's, because if you think about it, we're all made of energy, okay? So, like, you sense that energy from people. Like, I could tell within the first 5 minutes of meeting most people if I like you or not. And it's usually a gut feeling if I don't like you. If I like you, it's like I get a vibe with you and I feel it, and things like that too. But ever since I talked to her and I started looking down that avenue, it was just like it was a whole new eye-opening experience to me because I was like, man, like maybe that makes sense to what it is. And then I found out I'm an empath, means that I can sense people's feelings and things like that too, which makes sense. Like when I go into a hospital and I come out, I'm just so drained. I don't know what it is, but you feel all that energy around you and those people and things like that too. So that was the main point when I started changing my direction of how I felt about things, because I was like, damn, after that I went and explored that rabbit hole and started searching things and realized that, that, hey man, maybe this makes more sense. Maybe that feeling isn't weird anymore. It's an actual something I'm actually dealing with, which was really interesting because I never really knew much about the principle of energy until I started talking to her. And after that, it was energy here, energy. And then all the people that started showing up afterwards happened to be in the same category, which was so funny because it was hilarious, though. I'm like, this is funny because every time I get into a category, it's like, here you go. Next three people are the same.
Energy just aligned. That's fire.
Yeah, pretty dope, man. That's actually cool. What did growth cost you? Like on your journey, what did you lose?
Cost me everything.
Like
I lost everything twice now. Like I'm currently in the middle of divorce now. I'm living at my parents' house. I have absolutely 3 totes to my name. And I'm happier than I could be. But the original thing that happened was I was with my ex for 15 years. I have 3 girls of my own, and they didn't want to even talk to me. They wanted nothing to do with me. Prior to doing this, me and their mom didn't have the greatest history together. We were together 15 years. She was a narcissist, gaslit me all the time. I wasn't helping on the other end because I was drinking a lot, and I wasn't sleeping a lot and things like that too. And I was taking my frustrations out on them because I was just angry all the time, and I could never figure out what it was I was angry about, and this all stemmed from when I was 10 years old. My mom abandoned me, like she just like dropped me at my dad's doorstep and said, okay, here you go, and then just wanted me told me that I was the crazy person in this conversation because she's like, well, you don't seem like you have any remorse. No, I just didn't. At that point, you just said you don't love me anymore. You just dropped me at this doorstep, left me there alone for an hour, and then you wonder what it is. But after that, I didn't realize the ripple effect it had on me because I spent a lot of time alone and things like that. Later on, I started ramping up. Then when I started having kids, I was always angry, and whenever I got into a situation where I felt like someone's gonna leave, like their mom and I got into it really bad, she was gonna leave. I always was the first person to tell her to leave. And it's crazy because I could never figure out what that sensation was. That sensation just came over me. I just started getting real angry, start going completely berserk. Sometimes I'd see red, and it was hard when I started doing some self-reflection this year because I started looking back at how terrible of a person I was to most people. People that meet me now are just like, Pete, that was never you. Oh, okay, let me tell you a story about what Pete used to be like.
Yeah,
I was the most toxic person you could have been around. Like I was terrible to those kids, and they hated me. And they told me, one of them told me to my face they hated me, and rightfully so. I don't blame them. I was a terrible parent to them at that time, so
yeah,
now I'm dealing with, rebuilding that relationship with them little by little. And I know one of them follows me on Instagram, which is more than you could say than last year when I started doing this show because they can see that I'm doing something about it. I'm not sitting there letting it just happen. I'm in therapy now and things like that too. I talk to all these guys, all these different people every week. It's just it's a therapeutic moment because you get to share a little bit more about yourself. And at first it wasn't so easy to do. And I believe that we talked about that yesterday. You guys asked me that, hey, why didn't you talk? When did you start talking about myself more? It was when people kept asking me, Pete, what about you? Like, what about Pete?
yeah,
We only know a little bit about you. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it, let's go for it. And I just took off with it, man. I started showing up on these shows, talking about my own personal experience and things. Up into like a most recent one that was on another episode where I told people like, you want to know exactly what happened during that time period? Go watch that episode because it's probably the most honest I've ever been in my life about anything I've done. And I talk about everything. Like 4 months ago, I might have been here because my ex told me, "Hey, go ahead and make me the 13th reason why." That you're
mm,
deciding. And then also said, and everybody listening, this is never something to tell somebody when they're talking about suicide. Oh, it just isn't the right time. Never tell that to anybody. If they're talking to you, listen to them. It may be the hardest conversation you hear. 988 is there for a reason, but at least listen and hear them out. Maybe that's all you need to do to save their life is for you just to listen to what they're saying to you. Now, is it a rough conversation?
yeah.
Yes. You don't want to hear your friends thinking about killing themselves or they're at that point, but that could be the defining moment that saves somebody's life, and you may not even realize it that day just listening to that conversation.
Facts, facts,
Yeah, that's
facts,
true.
facts. I just want to say, first of all, congratulations with all that you've been through because you definitely
Thank you.
came a long way, and that's hard for a lot of people to,
Yeah, man, I agree.
get better
Thank you
from
so
that
much. I appreciate it.
situation. You know what I'm saying? So, and another question I have for you is, during these moments, like, how how was the feeling inside? Like, how did you personally feel in the moment, like when these things were
When I was
going
on the
on?
edge, it depends. If you ask me, every day for the last year and a half, I dealt with depression so bad it was like a black hole sucked you in. I like to reference it to like you ever seen the movie Get Out where the guy's inside the little hole and he's there and everything's
Mm,
black around you and you can see reality above you. That's basically what it was like. Like my depression was swallowing me that bad every single day, and no one would have a single clue unless I told somebody that I was struggling. Like there's some people that knew a little bit, had a feeling, were asking me questions. I kept telling them I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, and I lied to every single one of them because I didn't think half of them could handle the real honesty of the conversation. But then my mindset had changed after a while because then I started talking to more people about it, and I found out that more people could handle this conversation. And then a good friend of mine from Australia, she knew something was up, and she wasn't taking "oh, I'm fine" as an answer anymore for me, and she kept hassling me about it. "Oh, hey, are you okay? There's something wrong." And then I just finally broke down and told people about what was going on in my head and things like that too, and it was the greatest release ever. You didn't feel so alone because people knew what you struggled with. So it's not like you're just being over dramatic. And that's the hardest conversation to tell people that's what you're thinking because you don't know what people are going to say to you. And a lot of people that survive suicide, it's really I don't get it why people do it, but they treat you in a different manner because they're just like, oh well, I don't want to upset you. That what I mean. That's the first thing is like, oh, I don't want to trigger you. It's a lot harder to trigger somebody than you think to go into a suicidal state of mind. You know, the fact that they're telling you this, like I said yet again, once again we're back to it. It's very important that you listen to when these people are talking to you because it could be that life or death moment and you may not even realize it.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
that's true. What like help you like we all have those phases, right? Where you get in dark places. Like, what's your motivation to keep going?
This
Like what's your motivation?
this show
It's
alone.
nice. So like
The
what led you going?
What led it to it is just the fact I kept hearing people say, Pete, I appreciate what you're doing. And all I'm having is a conversation, mind you. I'm not doing anything other than interviewing these people, creating that noise that this conversation needs to continue happening. It's constantly happening. There's people I don't even know coming up to me going, hey, listen, I saw your podcast and I appreciate what you're doing. And I don't know these people by name, mind you. And these people are coming to me constantly telling me the same thing. I'm getting emails now from people, hey, listen, I listened to your episode of this, and things like that. I appreciate your honesty about these things. I want to be a part of this conversation. It's just those messages of people telling you that they appreciate something you're doing, and all you're doing is having a conversation that nobody else really wants to have, or people are too afraid to have, and things like that too. And it's motivating. It's like, why stop now? People like you so much, why not keep going? Like, it's the motivation to keep going, because everybody every week is like, hey, listen, thank you so much for what you're doing. And like, everywhere you go, people are constantly talking about it. I go into like a lot of these TikTok rooms I go into, people know who I am, see who it is, and start talking about it, and say, a lot of people are always interested to know what I'm talking about. So now I adapted this thing where now I say, hey, how's your mental health? Okay, so think of it from this aspect. If I said to you guys, how you doing, you could say, okay, I'm good. All right,
Right.
conversation ends. I'd never know if something's wrong with one of you two. I said, hey guys, how's your
Yeah.
mental health? You have to think about now what I'm saying to you, and it takes you a minute to respond. And in that moment, some people will start telling you what's going on, and some will, some won't. Okay, I get it. It's all right, but it's a whole different question. And hey, how are you doing? And giving them that one way exit out, or it opens the conversation further to, okay, so why are you asking me this? Well, I noticed you're struggling with something, and you start opening the conversation to people, and it's funny because a lot of times these guys I meet, one guy said in his fantasy football league, these guys were all in there and you're waiting for somebody. One person said something and everybody jumped in the conversation. So somebody's waiting for somebody to say that one thing, to ask you that question and be like, hey, listen, let's talk about this conversation more, and it's always interesting to find out, how bad people are struggling, because it's like, you never know. Like, you see these picture perfect lives on Facebook, all the great family things, but what really goes on behind closed doors, no one's really know until someone tells you.
Right.
Yeah. I
That's
definitely agree. I think that's a. I really like how you do that because I always tell like myself when I tell Perry this, I'm like, the goal is like really trick the brain. So
Hmm.
like how you say it, I never thought about like instead of asking how are you, is like how's your mental health. Like you want to force the person to think. I really like that.
Yeah.
That's then
that's very
I'm gonna
fun.
take that.
Right. Yeah, and it's awesome
Nah,
though.
but
I
that's
I met a guy in TikTok recently, my buddy named Red. He ran with it. He loved it. The minute he found out I was saying that to people, that dude just went off with it. He was like, "Okay, let me go ask everybody the same question." You've never seen a guy so excited to ask you those questions. Hey, listen, I have to ask you a question. He just starts running through these questions, and then he goes, "Oh, you know what question's coming, Pete?" And he looks at me. He goes, "Here we go," and he just starts asking people. So it's great to see that people love it so much, and the things like that too. And it makes me feel good because it's like now you're doing something to help people change the conversation just a slight bit, from hey, how are you doing, to like, really start asking those questions that people are waiting for you to ask them.
So
yeah.
Pete,
It's,
so with your past or and whatnot, how did you how do I explain this? Like how did you forgive yourself for the wrongs that you have
Oh
done,
man, let me tell you,
and grow from them?
I struggled so hard with this subject alone. It was like an endless wall that just kept going up. I started realizing that it had these events not happen, Pete's first anxiety wouldn't even exist, and that's the turning point I had this year. I was sitting there thinking about it, and it's just gonna sound strange. So I met a guy, season 2, episode 2. We talked about this. He said to talk to your inner child. He said, Pete, I want you to sit there and meditate. Okay. He's like, and I want you to talk to the inner Pete and talk to him and just tell him everything's gonna be okay. And it was an interesting moment. So I was doing it every single day. I was talking to myself, doing that meditation, talking to myself, and little by little, it's just like I started replaying all the events and thinking like how I got here. It's like, because if I didn't have that one moment in my life at 10 years old, Pete versus anxiety would never exist, because people that are abandoned at a young age a lot of times want everybody to feel included. So that's how I am now. I try to make everybody feel included. If I'm in a group conversation, I'm trying to pull that one person in that's not saying anything. Like, hey, listen, let's bring you in the conversation, and it's just like you sit there and reflect on everything, and it's hard, man. I had to forgive myself for a lot of shit, a lot of things, man. Like, it was rough. Like, when you have to sit back and look how terrible of a person you were to everybody around you, and it's a hard pill to swallow, but it
Yeah.
felt better every time I was able to forgive myself for every single
yeah,
thing.
yeah, no, that's good. That's really good. What advice would you give your younger self? You understand that's really reflecting on your past. What advice would you tell yourself, your
Man,
younger self?
what? I just tell myself to hang on. It gets better. It really does. I mean, as much stuff as I went through and where I'm at now, I don't think I'd change a thing, honestly, because this show would never exist without it. I mean,
That's,
the impact it has on people's lives, and things like that. I'm having people tell me every day these great things. It's like, I almost tell everybody that trauma is a superpower now, because if it wasn't for that defining moment in my life, I'd never be where I'm at now. I wouldn't be doing the things I'm doing now. And then the different people that come up to you every day, I'm telling you, it's exhilarating, man. Like that feeling when people come at you that you don't even know, saying, "Hey, you're doing a
yeah,
great thing." It's just like, okay, well, at first it was more, what do you call it? It's more imposter syndrome, because I couldn't think as successful the show was. It was making that big of a difference. It's kind of like I kind of fought with that a little bit, but after a while, you just seen all these people were so excited to see you. So when I did the first year's show wrap up, I asked some of my other guests to chime in of like, hey, happy birthday, Peter Society. You would never. I had like 14 people just shoot back with the most positive messages ever that I've met, all through the different aspects too. Not even people in the same subject. I had a whole bunch of people that were that big and that behind what you're doing and everything like that. And it's real surreal when you see that moment of all these people that you met along the way that still support what you're doing today.
man, that's pretty dope. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. I really like that for you. So, I mean,
Facts.
you keep going on a good journey. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's really, really good. Um, Honestly, no, that's crazy. I really honestly like, because it sounds crazy. Like we're young, I'm
Mhm.
21, he's 20, and it's like I live the crazy life. Like we partied, we smoked, we drank, we have fun with girls. We did girls wrong, and then like it's so many ways to motivate people. You feel me? Like your way to motivate people is through like your past with depression. And like our way to motivate people is to like show them that like it's more to life than party. It's so beautiful how it's like the our topic is life. Our podcast name is Life Podcast, right? And I think it's so like fascinating to me. It's like it's so many ways to grow in different ways of life. And I think that the whole goal for the podcast is to bring people on you, like you to own the podcast and like have people older or like even women, anyone to help tell their story about how they overcame life
Yeah.
challenges. I think that your story is actually something like I've never thought of, never heard. Like it's who would have thought that mental health can make somebody stronger now? You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah,
that's really that's
but
really
the other thing is that you're starting at such a young age, man. We need to start teaching these kids as early as we can about emotional regulation and things like that. Understanding they have these feelings and what these feelings are. But you guys are making a big headway, being so young as you are, having these honest conversations with people, because people are going to relate to that because you're so young versus me that I'm older, and they're like, okay, well, they can see that the three of us, even though we have a generation gap, we can still have an open, honest conversation amongst the three of us, and it doesn't have to be, oh, me picking on you guys because you're younger, and you guys saying things because I'm older. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're having an open, honest conversation here, like three adults should be able to have. You know what I'm saying? Like, and in the
Yeah.
conversation of mental health, three guys together, like I said, statistically, is way better than where we're at right now. And things like that too. So
And one
for
thing
sure.
that
Yeah, no,
stand
for
out in
sure.
your story to me is like when you said like you got abandoned at a young age. Like me and him, we low key kind of the same way. Like we grew up in a broken home pretty much
mm-hmm.
growing up. So to see that you've been through it and you went through it, and yeah, it may have took you a little bit longer to realize it and get over it, but we seen like there's a connection here and that you can get over it. There's more
Yeah.
people that has gotten over it, and I think that's just beautiful. No cap. So
Right.
I really
Right.
do appreciate you for telling us your story. I ain't gonna lie.
Oh,
That's
definitely, man.
very.
I was like, as soon as I saw the inbox invite from you guys, I was like, oh shit, I gotta hurry up and message these guys back. Hell yeah, I'm down. Let's go.
Yeah,
I
nah,
try to
for
get.
sure.
I try to get on every show possible. Anybody that invites me, I always come, man. I'm like, I know where it was like when I was in the beginning. I got on a bunch of shows by luck, and some of them I met some friends along the way. I forgot to even sign up for half these shows. I'll be honest with you. Sometimes I
I'm here.
forget, but they turn out to be great conversations. So I'm like,
Yeah,
oh shit, I'm signed up for this one. Okay, well, and then it turns out you have a new lifelong friend, like my friend who runs a podcast called Mostly Unavailable. I honestly forgot I even signed up for her show, but then when I went on it, we had such a great time, and she was so cool, and a lot of these other ones I end up running into, other podcasters I run into are really great too, because I'm always interested to see, how people are running their shows, because everybody does them differently, and that's the great thing about this whole thing of podcasting is that
yeah.
everybody has a different voice and a different message. So like, we could all have there's 1,000 out there, but everybody can't listen to all of them in a single day. You know what I'm saying? Like there's plenty of us out there, there's plenty of us having our own point of views, And that's the great thing about it is like, that anybody that wants to start a podcast, there's a lot of work behind it. I'll be honest with you, but reach out. I'll get you started. I'll tell you how to get started. I have a few friends that I've started on them, and they're taking off. One of them, he just did 100 episodes, and he's 570 days clean. My buddy Jay Bush, man, he's doing real great. He runs Rock and Recovery, and that dude's story was crazy too. Like, he has his own story. He thinks that been in jail 22 years, lost his wife to suicide. Man, fellas, he walked in and she was in the closet hanging there. Now imagine
Wow.
that. This guy turned that into a positive situation of just like trying to help everybody else out, and his big thing sobriety, and he does mental health as well. So it's been great to learn things from him about the sobriety side. And then there's another friend. She just got a silver play button from YouTube. I actually just saw it a few minutes ago. My buddy that runs Everybody's Addicted out of Canada, Jasmine's fantastic, man. If y'all haven't seen that show yet, she's actually on their TV network out there, the Rogers, Hornby, or whatever. I'm sure I'm messing that one up, but that was a pleasure meeting her too. Met her early on at 60,000 viewers on YouTube alone and the subscribers and things like that. And she's up to 100,000 now, man. Just got her silver play button, so I'm so happy for her.
Yeah, that's good.
That's really good. That's actually like really good. I really like that, and I think this is could be something big that people need. Like we all need it. I
Hmm.
do agree. Like mental health is one of the biggest things that as men we ignore. I feel like that's
Hmm.
because that's what we're taught. Like we're all taught, like as men, like thug it out, like suck it up, like you'll be
Hmm.
okay. But that's not. Like the truth is to let your emotions be known. Let you know how you feel. Like
Yeah.
it's okay. You're human. It's like men, women, don't. You're human. So
I think you're
I
right
really
there.
do think.
Right there, what you just said, that we all are human. At the end of the day, we're human. We're not robots. Think about why
Yeah,
ChatGPT isn't my new therapist, because it doesn't have that human element to everything. That whole TikTok trend of, well, ChatGPT is my new therapist. No, no, it's not, because ChatGPT doesn't have the human element of emotion to feel what you're dealing with or understand what you're doing. It has it to some sense. It can understand you, but other than that, it has no idea what you're thinking at all.
Right.
that's true. I agree. I agree. I really do. I really do think. Yeah, and my biggest thing is now like society is now is like we run to social media.
Hmm.
Like I think that's the biggest thing. Rather than running to a person to really connect with a person one on one, we run to social media and we go like post about it, and then when people see that, they think that this person is crazy, and then
Mm,
that's just gonna make you even more down. So I
exactly.
think I think that's the biggest thing with with the generation growing up. Like, all we got is our phone. All we got is here. Like this is what's like our recent podcast was it was about the phones pretty much, and the phone could be like I said a good thing. It's just how
Hmm.
we use it. Like, you need help
That's
instead of
funny. That's funny
go
you
call
say.
someone.
That's funny you say social media though, because I have a group on social media. I'm a part of TikTok. I have a Pyro Family is my group. I'm a part of there. My buddy Snicks that
Yeah,
runs it. Me and him are. He's a big mental health advocate as well. He has a show called Unboxed Thoughts, where he went through his own struggles and talked about his own thing. So him and I went head to head about this. But our Discord family has this mental health chat thing that we do in there now, that I pushed for these guys, because I'm like, why not? Let's start the conversation. If nobody shows up, nobody shows up. But let's give it a shot and see what happens. And me and him went back and
yeah,
forth a little bit about this, and then Red, the gentleman I mentioned earlier, him and I were tagging team and doing this kind of thing together. Like you guys, we're doing it together, and we're pushing for it. And I have to tell you, the first meeting we had was phenomenal. It was great. Shout out to the Snicks and all the Sponge and everybody else out there, man. Real great people on TikTok. You just have to find your people on social media. That's the thing. I think
yeah,
that it could be your enemy or it could be your best friend at the end of the day. It's just like these people put too much information out there that it's like you don't know what to believe anymore. Like I said, though, you guys being so young, having these honest conversations, I think are going to be the spark and the change, because you're having real conversations about things, and you're inviting other people to join your conversation, and you guys
yeah,
clearly can have a conversation, no problem between the two. I've watched some of your guys' stuff. I've seen some of your past streams and stuff. I'm watching a little bit of it and see. I always check out everybody's stuff before I even agree to be on a show and things like that too. And I go see how the conversation flows, so I can see. And like I said, with the two of you guys, I just love the energy y'all gave off. Like you could just see the connection between y'all as you're going. You guys are just going back and forth. With all the different questions and things you guys had for each other. It was really good though. I mean, like I said though, you guys being so young though, I think it's going to be a lot easier for a lot of people to start absorbing it. And I think that's great that you're starting the conversation now to let people know there's other things outside of partying and all these other things, and stuff like that. And then as you go, when you hit episode 20, you're going to already hit a milestone in podcasting anyway, because most people don't make it to episode 20, and things
yeah.
like that. And then 20 will go to 50, 50 go to 100, and then you'll just see how many people start gravitating towards what you're doing. and things like that too. And I'm gonna sit back and watch, so for sure, fellas, I'll be checking it out for sure.
Appreciate you,
I
Pete.
Definitely.
appreciate that. I got one question actually. If someone feels stuck right now, what advice would you give them?
Good
Anyone
question.
that's feels stuck, anyone that has like a bad situation, anyone that needs help, what would you tell?
There's plenty of resources out there to help you these days. If you're stuck in a situation, mental health wise, and things like that, uh, go to the helphub.co. I'm gonna tell you right now, probably the greatest site ever made to man. It's a one-stop shop for mental health. It covers every single thing possible. Oh, you're in Canada? That's there. Oh, you're of a certain religion and they don't like certain. Okay, boom, that's there too. This woman, Lisa Sugarman, had spent all this time to literally sit there and put all of this stuff down for you in a website for you guys to find. 988's there. I think the Canadian version 988's on there as well, if I remember right, though, too. And things like that as well. Just go talk to somebody. Because if you don't know where to start, that's okay. That's a great thing about therapy. Just talk to somebody, see if you can get an idea of what it is you're dealing with. Now, don't take that diagnosis and go, okay, well, I have super bad anxiety, so I can't work. No, that's not the point of this conversation. The point is to see what you're dealing with, so how you better attack the situation. Because you never know what you're dealing with. Some symptoms you're having could be the symptoms of something else. Like BPD, bipolar. There's some really crazy ones that get out there when you get farther out there that may start explaining some of the things you deal with. And there's different forms of anxiety as well. Like there's the really super bad one. There's a super, you know what I mean. There's a real light one, kind of in the middles. Like if you don't know, you don't know. So my best advice is to talk to somebody. Talk to somebody who's licensed in this, and then go from there and decide what your next state of plan is. Because if you don't know where to start, how are you going to begin the whole conversation about what's the next step?
I got
Yeah.
one more question too as well, Pete.
Hmm.
So, with everything, how like what helped you get what helped you like how do I want to explain this? What helped you like get into like get over that? Like, how did you know that you were going through mental health? Like, how did you know you were having mental health problems and you was going
Okay,
through
so let
them?
me ask you this question. So if every day you're angry at everybody for no reason, like the slightest thing pisses you off for no reason, you don't think something's wrong with that? Or that
Sure.
sense of feeling like, for
There's,
people that have anxiety, someone will understand, it's like my shit's going like 1,000 miles an hour right now, like like that. If I'm real nervous, like I have this real nervous feeling about me, my heart starts racing, like I'm on the verge of a panic attack kind of thing. I've had one or two before I realized what it really was, but it's like a simulated heart attack. Those are not normal things you deal with. Like the racing thoughts in your head. Like I gravitate to things. So like certain conversations with people, I've learned now how to do it. Before I grab something and I just sit there and it's cycle in my head, just keep going faster and faster and faster. I knew something was wrong. I tried therapy before, and then my ex was just not really supportive of it. And I stopped for all the wrong reasons. I didn't do it for me. I tried to do it to try and help me and her. But at the end of the day, if you can't fix yourself, then what good are you to the other person? It's hard for people to realize that, and setting boundaries. You got to set boundaries. These are things that come into conversations. But it's just like, those aren't normal. Like you get mad, or like certain things just agitate you and just send you off the handle for no reason. It's only certain situations too, because you have to remember the body keeps record. Now you may not remember that moment at 10 years old. You may remember it as, okay, oh, yeah, mom just left me, but you don't understand the emotional effect it has on you the rest of your life. Like I was really angry at everybody. I was a really angry kid all life. Can never figure out why I was so angry. Everything's so agitated. Every time I felt like somebody was trying to leave me, or I got into that moment, I turned into the most aggressive person you've ever met in your life. Like I get so mad, I start yelling, screaming, throwing things, and all of these things. Like I'm like, there's just can't be right, and then eventually I finally started, when I started doing that men's mental health episode with my first podcast, Pete's Corner Store. That's when it started opening my eyes that something was really wrong, and then I went back into therapy and was like, I was talking to somebody, and then I found out that, I'm dealing with anxiety, depression, these other things, and these thoughts of like, not wanting to be here are not normal. Like, you wake up some days and you're just like, you're questioning whether or not you want to be here in this life anymore, and you're really on the edge of it. Like, like 4 months ago, I was on the edge. I was like, literally had the plan in place. It was right there, and it was just like, I didn't do it because something told me not to, and
yeah,
it's hard to explain it to people what it is, but it's just like, that stuff is just not normal behavior, and everybody was telling me for years, oh, you need to get help, you need to get help, and I was like, no, I'm fine, and you're lying to yourself. The same thing
Yeah.
with addicts that happens. Like, if you can't help somebody that doesn't want help for themselves,
yeah,
and I wish I would have done it sooner, just because of the fact that the relationship with my daughters has been a little bit better. But at the same time, I can't sit here and dwell on what I could have done. I can only look at the future and do what I can do better now,
Yeah.
and things like that too. But that's my advice to anybody out there. Like, if you feel like, something's wrong, go get talk to somebody. What does it hurt to have a conversation with somebody? One conversation is gonna, and they're not gonna ask you anything other than what are you feeling, and most times they can tell based on your reaction and what you're saying, and some of these behaviors you have or mannerisms. A lot of times they can tell that's what the issue is. Like, hey, listen, this is what you're probably dealing with, and dig deeper in with you and try and help you find out, different tools and things that you can use to help you get over these kind of feelings, so you don't have to feel like you're on edge. Like, some days when my anxiety's high, dude, I'm like paranoid. I'm looking around the room every so often. Like every so often, I'll just start looking off camera, and people have no idea what I'm doing. It's because I'm at a heightened state of awareness, because I know something's not right, And like I said, the PTSD moment was the scariest moment of my life ever, because like that one phone call, you don't realize that one phone call does it to you. And like after hearing the sound
Yeah.
of her voice, it was just like it just sent shivers down my spine, dude. And I was a mess for 3 days. My poor friend V sat there and listened to some of the wildest conversation ever. I'm surprised she's still my friend after those few days, guys. Let me tell you, it was
That's a
rough.
real
I
one.
was calling her,
Yeah,
telling her some wild shit, and she's like, "Yeah, bro, do I need to come over there and get you?"
that's what a friend is. What a
Somebody
friend
asked
is.
a question in the chat for you, Pete. They asked,
Yeah.
shout out Phoenix, man. Shout out Phoenix. They
Yo, what up,
said,
Phoenix?
yeah, they said they know you. So they said, how did you know the difference between the feeling of a mental health crisis versus feeling like it's just something wrong with you, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it does. That's a great question. It was that constant state of like anger I was in about everything, and it was only the one moment though. Remember now, it was that one moment. It was always that feeling like when I get into an argument with somebody, I start having the feeling of like somebody's gonna leave me, and to me it was just like I knew something wasn't right about this. It wasn't just a crisis. There was something wrong, because it's only that situation where I get hyperactively angry. Like my flare up goes 0 to 1,000 instantly. And in any kind of argument, it was always the same pattern, the same arguments. Every time you get in an argument with somebody, we get to that point, I'd either tell them to leave, get out. You don't have to be here, just get out, just leave. Because I'm trying. Remember now, I'm trying to stop them before they leave me. I'm trying to leave them. I'm trying to get them away from me, and at pushing away, constantly feeling it was always the same argument, and it just didn't feel right, and I just felt terrible afterwards, and I could never figure out what it was. And it was always this sense of like I got up every day and feeling like I'm just like I don't want to live anymore. It's like, some days are just rough. I get up and my mind just hated me, and I'm like, this can't be right. And then, like I said, when I did that mental health thing, I did a lot of research. I literally went in, did some research, looking at things. And I started noticing different things that I was looking up, like they started matching up with me, and like I was like, something here isn't right about it. I'm having a lot of these symptoms. And I know we all like the WebMD our shit. It wasn't like that. It was just I was doing the research for the show, and I was
Yeah,
looking at it, and I started noticing how many patterns of things that match up to things I'm dealing with, and I was like, hey, there's got to be something wrong with me. Maybe I should go talk to somebody. What more harm do I have talking to therapy? My ex hated therapy. I mean, I granted she had her own reasons, but I was like, what, I'm gonna give it a shot and talk to somebody, and see what they say, and maybe they can figure out what is wrong. And luckily I did, because after I talked to somebody, it started making a lot more sense. They started asking me these questions like, hey, do you have these certain feelings? Are you uneasy? These the racing thoughts, things like that. Stuff that started narrowing down. I'm just like, whoa, hold on. How do you know?
yeah,
She's like, and then they said, oh well, you're currently what you're experiencing is anxiety. And then the depression feeds into my anxiety. So my shit goes like an infinite loop. So when one is feeding into the other, I
Just
am a
keep adding
miserable
up. Yeah.
person. And it's hard though. But yeah, that was the one moment. I noticed the pattern was the same thing. Every time that conversation come up, dude, I just like my hair on my neck stand up. I start getting angry, just started like heart racing and things like that. I knew that couldn't be normal.
At,
yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
at any of these points when you were going through these things, like, or you were getting better, did you go through any isolation periods where you were just alone and you got to grow, or were most of these moments like
I
help, like getting help from other people and stuff like that?
At first I was alone, but that's how I always grew up as a kid. I was always alone by myself. I kind of hung up by myself.
Yeah.
So self isolation is what I was normal to me. It was like I hung a lot of time by myself as a kid. My dad worked a lot, and he was a single dad. His girlfriend was always at work, so I was home by myself, spent a lot of time. So that to me was a normal home feeling. I wasn't really a social butterfly at first. And it was just like I'm always a homebody. I like to stay home by myself, and like I felt like the most safe at home is when I was by myself, just sitting there, not doing anything. And I was okay with that. That's not normal. Like you want to be left alone all the time. Sometimes you have to let people in, and that was the hardest part. Is when like I said, people didn't know how bad I was struggling every day. Like I didn't tell people how bad my depression was. People were like, hey, how you doing? I'm doing fine. But remember now, they didn't ask me the right questions. They were asking me how I'm doing. I answered your question. I said I was okay. I really, in the
Yeah.
inside, I was dreading life. I didn't want to get up. I like literally the most miserable moments were right before I do the show. I get in. I loved it. The show was a highlight of my day for most days. Like that's the only reason keeping me going most days. I got up. I stayed in a dark room. Like I'm talking like I had blackout curtains. Not a single light shred of light was coming through. The only light was coming out was the light above me right now that I had, And I turn it back off and go right back to bed after I'm done recording. I just lay in bed, be miserable all day, and I just knew the feeling couldn't be right. And I did stay isolated. Now that I've let more people in, it's the greatest feeling ever. Now I have a resource of friends I can call, different people I can reach out. Phoenix and the family are all great too. They've been really great people. They knew most of the story, and things like that too. All these guys now I have people to lean on. It's great. It's nice to have those people that if you're having a rough day, I could reach out to any single one of them and say, hey, I just need you to listen to what I'm about to say. And 90% of them are going to say yes to you.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah. Good. I got a question actually. So like, in this life that we live, it's always good to have a partner, like
Mm-hmm.
a girlfriend or boy. You know, do you plan on pursuing that, or that's not your goal right now? Like, what's the next step with that?
Right now I'm dealing with a divorce. I am there are a few people I'm talking to. I'm just not sure where I'm at right now. It's kind of like I'm taking things really easy because I have a lot of things I'm dealing with. Going through divorce right now and things like that. So I want to get past all that. Down the road, I could see it. I click with people. I met somebody the other day interviewing on the show. She actually was there. We were talking about it, and we've been kind of hitting it off, a little bit like that. So, I'm never gonna say never. We'll see what the future holds. Right now, I'm kind of just worried about me, and that's what I have to focus on right now. My friend V made me say no girls for a serious year, so I gotta kind of listen to her.
Yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
for the best for me. I need to worry about myself first because if, like I said, if I'm not good enough for that other person, what the hell good am I to myself? And I mean, you always have to put yourself first. And other thing, guys, too, is that the boundary setting thing. Like, anytime people set boundaries, make sure you set hard boundaries for people and be like, hey, these are my boundaries. If you cross them, you need to pass them. Don't ever let somebody tell you that your boundaries are selfishness. Because those are instantly the first people you cut out of your life. Like, zoop, see you later. Don't need you.
Facts.
for sure, I do agree with, especially with this generation because like it's so easy to cross boundaries. Like me personally, I wouldn't want my girlfriend posting like all types of pictures on Instagram. So I'm gonna set it early. I'm gonna let you know like, hey, like that's not pleasing to my eye, and it
Mm-hmm.
should be.
And it's nothing crazy either. They're gonna tell you, "Oh no, man, he's just being controlling." No, he's just setting this. This is what I tolerate. If you don't want to be here, there's the door. There's no reason telling you to stay here. I'm not holding a gun to your head saying, "Hey, you have to be here." And it's good that you're doing it now because most people are afraid to do that because they always hear, "Oh, you're selfish," or "He's controlling." No, he's telling you, "This is what I like. If you don't like it, you can see yourself out. I'll find somebody that fits into that category." You're not having anything unreasonable. I don't want you out there flaunting yourself on the internet to other people.
Yeah,
That's not okay with that. Some people are, some aren't. And that's cool, man. It's good that you're doing that now because most people won't even do that.
Yeah.
yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, no, boundaries is a big thing, especially with friendships too. Like not even relationships, friendships too, because sometimes friends can do the wrong thing, and
Yeah.
yeah,
So
boundaries is life. I really agree with that. Boundaries is life.
Yeah, I got a good friend like that too. Me and him actually met playing Call of Duty, and you, dude, we we don't have boundaries, fellas. Let me tell you, between the two of us, our conversations get wild, but that's okay because that works for us.
yeah.
Like some of the
Yeah, yeah,
conversations we have on a daily basis, most people would go, "Oh my God, did you just say what?" Yeah, I just said that. We just said that to each other. He has to explain that to people sometimes. Like, yeah, we know each other. That's all it is. But it's a great thing when you find those people you click with. It's so cool because I could call him at 3 in the morning and he lives in California and he know exactly if I'm calling him at 3 in the morning something's wrong. He'll pick up the phone and answer and he'll start listening to whatever I tell him. The wildest stories I've ever told him, he's listening there for. He's in fact the person that told me that my ex was cheating on me originally. My first, the baby mom with the girls and stuff. He's the one that pointed out to me. He literally said, "Hey, dumbass, do I have to come to Texas to whip your ass?" Kind of thing. That kind of conversation. We got heated. He was like, "Bro, do I need to come over there and smack some sense? Let me tell you what's going on." He's just like telling it to me. But that's just how it worked for us. You know, that's a great thing with your friendships. Like you guys know what you can and get away with. And setting up
Mhm.
boundaries. Like obviously, if me and him cross the point, we talk about it. Me and him would definitely have a conversation about it. And young Pete wouldn't do that. Young Pete would say, "Fuck it, I'm done with people. I'll just cut them off and go." But now it's like,
yeah.
let's talk about this. Let's talk it out. Figure out we can't come to a common ground. And I never mean to offend anybody. And if I do, I'm the first person to reach out to him like, "Hey, listen, let's talk it out. Let's see where we had a miscommunication. I guarantee we're not going to go down that road again," kind of thing.
So what would you have
You
to
know,
say for somebody that's like, say they're in a situation where boundaries aren't set? What would you say for them to start setting boundaries? What if they're scared to like let their person know? Because I know a lot of people won't
That's a
open up
fantastic
to
question.
their person. They'll be scared and just hold it in. So what would you have to say to them?
First off, that is a fantastic fucking question. I love that,
Appreciate
man.
that.
So, okay, so my advice to you is that you're setting these boundaries regardless. You need to be, I know you're scared. Please understand, I understand you're scared, but you have to remember these are the things that you're going to allow to happen in your life. If you continue to be a doormat, you're going to be a doormat. Now is the time to set those boundaries and tell them if they pass that hard boundary, they're gone instantly. And you have to stick to it. It is the hardest thing you do. I'm not saying it's easy. Trust me, it is not the easiest thing in the world to do because people tell you're selfish. You'll hear all this outside noise, but fuck everybody else because they're not either fucking you, paying you, or taking care of your bills. I know it sounds crude, but this is straight to the point. That you need to set those boundaries, stand by those boundaries, and not let somebody else change your boundaries to something you're not comfortable with, because at the end of the day you're allowing them to invade your personal space that you don't like. If you don't like something they're doing, then you're the one that's going to have to tell them. I could sit here and tell you all day, but you're going to have to do it. And it's going to suck. I'm going to tell you right, it fucking sucks. Okay. It really does. Now everybody has an Aries moon like I do. If you're astrology people, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I have the ability to cut people off instantly. If once I set that boundary, if you cross it, you're done. That's it. You're dead to me, and I don't even care. I won't even think twice about it. But not
yeah,
everybody has that ability. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be hard. Like, I'm going to tell you again, it's really hard to do. But trust me, at the end of the day, you'll find that your personal space is respected more if you put those hard boundaries down. Now,
yeah,
you got to cut them
and
off. I'm sorry, but you got to
yeah.
cut them off.
Nah, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No, go ahead.
to go out, like it's so important to understand like your self worth. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's putting you in a position where your peace is getting ruined. Why are you still in that position? So I think the biggest thing is like, how much do you love yourself
Exactly.
to get out? So like boundaries should be set always, no matter what.
And,
Honestly,
and look how young he is, and he already has that perspective on life. See, you can't teach that to people. That's something great right there, right alone. He already knows it at a young age. That, hey, listen, you ain't gonna pass my fucking boundaries and do the things, and it's hard though. Like he said, it's all about self-respect too, because those boundaries are your boundaries. Like, hey, I don't
yeah,
like you doing these things. Hey, I don't like you talking to other people, other girls. Well, be reasonable about it. Don't be playing some like wacky ass fucking boundaries. Like, well, you can't look at girls the wrong. Come
yeah,
on,
nah,
let's be honest. You know what I'm saying? Make them realistic boundaries that make sense, that you're not going to allow to happen. Like he said, I don't want my girls over here posting their shit on the internet for everybody to see. That's not for you to be showing off to everybody, and
yeah,
things
nah,
like that too. You know what I mean? Like, be reasonable about it, kind of thing. But to set those boundaries, and it's for your own self-respect, like he was saying, your own self-respect.
All right.
yeah, nah. I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, and it's just about how you're gonna be presented. Like if you were the person who's doing you so bad, like think about people's looking at you. People like, this guy's crazy. Like, what is he thinking? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I know it doesn't matter, people how people feel it shouldn't matter, but it's just like the thought of it.
Yeah.
And if people are talking about you, when people talk about you, people words can bring you down. That's
Yeah.
why, like, I think the biggest thing for me right now, like my life, how I've been changing, is because people have been seeing the growth. So when people see the growth, they say, "Oh man, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you." It's like how you say that gives you that extra motivation, that extra feel to like, bro, you're making a change for yourself. So like I tell myself every day, but when I hear it, it makes me feel better. So I
Yeah.
really do think
Yeah.
like people words have a lot of impact on you. So I do
Yeah, the
agree with that.
positive affirmations help too. Think of something positive every single day, and just go on that. Build on anything, any small victories every single day is a great victory for you. And people's words do hurt. That's why I've always taught my kids the same thing when they were younger. I said, think about the last thing you said to somebody, because tomorrow they couldn't be there. If they're not there tomorrow, there's no going back. You have to live with the guilt of what you said to somebody. And that's why I always close the show and say, any kind of words you can say, like when I close out, I usually say, any kind of action you can do to save someone's life or even save their day. You don't know. Like, that one positive interaction with somebody could have saved their day, and you may not even known it. And I told people that before, and there's some people I recently interacted with. I told them, like, you saved a life, you didn't even know it. Like, if I'm just there, I just want to be there around people. It's just the positive energy these people give off, and it just makes you feel so much better than, if you're having a shit day and you just don't say anything to anybody, and things like that too. But that's why I always close the show out the same way. And then I always say, don't ask how your day is, ask how your mental health is, because of that main reason. It's like, we need to talk more about this. It can't be said enough. It can't scream from the mountaintops enough. I can't tell you enough. It's just got to start talking now, because the statistics are going up. The high schoolers rates are going up. The middle school rates are going up. We got to do something now, where this is going to get out of hand.
Yeah,
Right.
So, hey, I mean, we're coming to the time. Do you want to close our show for us?
For sure. What do you guys want me?
One
You
more
want to close
question.
out?
One
I
more
got another
question.
bit.
Hold on. I got one more question for you, Pete.
Okay. Okay.
So, when I know a lot of people don't like being alone, so like a lot of people won't speak of like we were saying on boundaries and stuff like that. So what would you like for the people that don't don't sit well with being by themselves and healing alone? How would you have to tell them to like say if their partner is doing something bad and they need to break that boundary, how can they work on themselves without feeling like loneliness and like they're just haunting themselves down with
That
aloneness?
find people that are like-minded with you. Reach out to me. I'll answer you every time. Like you can reach out to me. I'm always around. People tell you I don't sleep at all. Find that person that you can your best friend. Somebody else on that list. It's gonna be a hard trip. It's hard. Gonna tell you that. Can't repeat it enough to you. It's hard. Like at the end of the day, it is not gonna be a fun journey. You don't have to go alone. Look out. Search out for other people like-minded like you. There's
Yeah.
tons of people out there that'll be out there to support you regardless of whether they know you. I don't know half the people I meet every day on this show, and I'm always there for people, regardless. I always open my inbox to anybody. I've had people reach out and use my inbox when they need it. Hell, reach out to me. I'm always around. Like I said, I don't ever sleep. I'm around doing something at some point, but I'm willing to listen to you. But just remember you're not alone. There's somebody out there that has the same story you are or similar to what you're dealing with. You just got to go find those people. And is it hard? Yeah, it's hard. No one said it's easy finding people. Like I said, you got to make the world your own oyster. You got to do what you have to do to make it by. And like I said, if worst case scenario, reach out to me. I'm everywhere you can find me possibly you can think of. I'm on every single thing possible for that reason. Reach me out, inbox me. I'll respond back to you. I may not get back to you right away. Please give me, please understand. I do get messages. I do try to respond as fast as I can. But if you see me somewhere, just hit me up. Like I'm always around. I'm live on TikTok a lot of times too. I'm doing all these other things, man. But just reach out. Like you're never alone. Like I'm always your friend in your corner, regardless. If you don't have anybody else, reach out. Pete's always there for you. I got you.
And what's something that recently, a good thing that recently happened to you that you are excited or proud about?
Uh, you know what? I've been people have been coming up to me lately and telling me that hey, you seem happier. Seem like you're doing better. You're looking good. All these positive things that people say to me may not mean a lot to other people. It means a lot to me. It's like I work hard every day doing this thing. I work 45 hours a week. I come on podcasts the rest of the time. Just hearing the responses of people and how appreciative they are of it, just keep them coming, man. It's the greatest motivation in life ever.
I
Yeah,
like
for
that.
sure. I do agree with. Like I gotta say, bro. I'm thankful for the have you here. Like I said, I
I
learned a lot
appreciate
from
y'all
you.
reaching out, man. It's great. I loved it. As soon as I saw it, like
Yeah.
I said, I stumbled over my keyboard to come message back. I was like, oh shit, I gotta hit him back.
I'm thankful that you were on that. And it's crazy too because like I run the social media page, and I've been reaching out to a lot of people, like a lot. Like I reach out. I don't know how many people I reach out a day, like
Yeah, man.
50
Listen,
maybe.
you just got to
I'm
shoot that
crazy
shot,
about
man. The biggest person I got early on in the show in the first 14 episodes was a woman named Lucy in the North. She was the band. She's a part of a band called Haunter. She has 20,000 Instagram followers, and she saw my one comment and said yes to it. And I was shocked. And then when she came on the show, the coolest fucking person I've ever met in my life. She was so cool,
Yeah,
really nice. And this one, mind you, has 500,000 downloads on her song at the time this episode was airing. And we were talking to her. She's half a
Uh,
million downloads on her songs. Hasn't done a live concert till this year. She started doing them, but she was the greatest person ever. And I've had a few other highlights too. I've had a person that's like 2.8 million downloads on their show. I've
wow.
had more top 1%, top 5% podcasters on my show, only because I did just that. I just shot out and asked them. I said, "What more do you have to say than no to me?" That's it. I
that's
mean,
true.
you're never gonna miss all the shots you don't take in life because if you don't ask, like even I had I had an international bestsellers on my show. It was one of my second guests on the show. This past year, I've had a global bestseller on the show, and it's just like it's crazy, And people tell you no. You're gonna hear no a lot of times. Okay, whatever. You get used to the no after a while. Okay, whatever. But at least you ask
Yeah,
them. Remember that. At least you're going on asking these people, inboxing them. Sometimes it's hard to get their attentions. That's why like on TikTok sometimes I catch some of these people live. I find a lot of great guests there. Facebook's got a bunch of great groups you can go into and just post about your podcast. Hey, this is
there's-
what we're looking for. Things like that too. The site I told you guys, Podmatch, is one I use a lot too. I get a lot of people
yeah,
match up with you and things like that. You can meet a lot of people from there, and then like I said, you guys let me know what you're looking for. I have tons of references of people I have all the time, things like that too. I'm gonna send my buddy Jay your way. I definitely think y'all should meet him. You'll like him a lot. Jay's a really great guy.
yeah.
Um,
Sure,
you
just
know,
send them my account and I'll send their inbox. Yeah, honestly and truthfully, like how we did with the interview with you, that's pretty much what we're trying to do. Like
Yeah.
we're open to have it,
Yeah,
the
definitely.
podcast.
That's
So anyone
awesome.
tell the story. Yeah, nah,
Yeah.
I really think, and our goal is to try to get a guest every other week. You know,
Okay.
to keep aside
Yeah, definitely.
for sure,
Yeah, man. Listen,
for
interviews
sure.
are hard to do, man. I do only interviews, so keep in mind I'm doing interviews. All of my stuff is all interviews only. So imagine how many people I'm talking to on a regular basis.
Yeah,
I
a
know it.
lot.
Yeah,
Trust me.
yeah,
I don't do anything solo,
yeah,
man. It's like it just feels weird when you're by yourself. Eventually, I'm like, I don't know if I do
yeah,
solos. But that was the fun thing about Pete versus Society being just interviews. So I'm just like I'm hitting a whole new thing because that's all I'm doing is interview. I'm interviewing people every week and talking to new people. I have to search these people. Now I have an abundance amount of people that are reaching out to me. Like I can't keep up with some of them, And it's great. I love it. I
yeah.
love the overwhelming support. I love hearing the emails of, hey Pete, I listened to this episode with this guest on it. Things like that too. It's so interesting when those emails start like that. And there's a lot to come too. So get ready. There's a lot of interesting conversations that are coming down the line that haven't been released yet. That are coming up really soon.
I like that, man.
Yeah, nah, hopefully we're ready for it. You know, and that's another reason why we made the podcast, because like the way we run our social media account, it's kind of like we're like on the same topic. Like we both have like the motivation, inspiring thing. And the thing is, man, me and Perry, we've been best friends for like I don't even know how long now. Honestly, it's
Long
been a
time.
long, long time since we've been best
That's good though. That's good.
Yeah.
That's
friends. So
awesome.
we kind of let's make a podcast together so we can talk to each other. That's pretty much what it's about. And so like I think so it's going on the right way right now. It's really cool to have someone else with us to like kind of give us like the feel of having a podcast. Because at first, honestly and truthfully, it was just regular conversation. Like it's how we talk normally. Like to us, it's just regular conversation. But like having you here kind of give us like the feel for it with some experience. So
Right.
Yeah.
I'm really thinking
Yeah, listen,
on it.
y'all have any
Facts.
questions,
I'm
reach out
thankful,
always, man.
man.
I'm always open to answering questions. Like I said, man,
Yeah,
you're on your way to an amazing journey. It's so much fun. You're gonna meet a lot of cool people when you interview them, things like that too. I have a top 5 guest list, and last year alone, I got 2 of the top 5 to come on. One was a male relationship coach. He runs a podcast. Come on, man. I've been watching him since the beginning, and this guy literally said he waited 3 months just to talk to me. That was the greatest feeling ever. And
Wow.
he's top 3 on the list. Top 5 was Dr. Jen Bellinger, the BPD expert, which is borderline personality disorder. She was one of the original videos I'd seen when I started looking into the whole mental health thing of that. Because that's the first video I popped on, and I was making a joke with Max, like, hey, what if I invited her on the show? And I messaged her a couple times. She didn't see him, but then she was live on TikTok, and I luckily caught her. And I was waiting for her to look at the screen. I'm literally sitting there waiting to hit the time, just to hit the button and enter, and I caught her, and she
yeah,
read it. And she said yes. And then this woman's apologizing to me, like, oh, it took me a month to respond to you. Oh no, like, oh shit, she's talking to me like I was having a fangirl moment, surreal, because it's like you don't believe it. This woman on your top 5 is actually messaging you and things like that too. But I've had everybody, man. I've had artists on there. Some interesting people are people that do music are very interesting too. I've had a lot of
yeah.
artists on the show.
Yeah. I've been like following, like I actually I joined a Facebook group, like people who do like music and stuff, and I
Hmm
did join a Facebook
I,
reaching
I
out to
got
people.
I got somebody for music wise for you. Have you guys ever heard a guy named Note before? He does the song "Trust the Process." He's
Oh
a
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah. Listen, he is actually a good friend of mine. I'll actually ask him about coming to be on the show. I guarantee he'd do it.
yeah, for sure. Just send them ice.
Hell
Yo,
yeah, I'll send him over your guys' account. I'll have him reach out to you and stuff like that too. He was actually on the show. He's actually season three's intro song. His new song is actually going to be the new intro for the season 3. Because right now it's "Is It Me" by Let Me Bleed, which is another band I found on TikTok. I'd reach out to them and ask them, hey, listen, fellas, can I use your song for my intro to my podcast? And they said, hell yeah, go right ahead. So that was the greatest feeling ever. And I've had several other artists on the show. So it's been fun, man. And I still talk to 90% of them. But like I said, I'll reach out to him and my buddy Jay and have them both reach out to you. Because I think you should meet both of them. They're really great. Jay, especially, he's got a lot of knowledge to give out for you guys. He's been through a
yeah,
lot of shit, but at the end of the day, man, he stays positive, and it's amazing with everything he's gone through.
yeah, nah, for sure. We're like we say, we work on having anyone like
Definitely.
anyone like us. I think the biggest thing, like us being young, like we don't know it all, but like I'm so open to learning. Like that's the thing about me. Like I love
That's
to
the best
learn.
thing. That's the best thing about it, man. You're willing to learn something new from these are people that you meet, and that's the great thing with Pete for Anxiety. I learned some new things from everybody, and I'll take and share it with other people, and
Yeah,
all those are great experiences. Like I said, you guys are only on episode 5, man. Trust me. Once you hit 20, you're already right ahead of the scale of everybody else, man. And then it'll just keep going. You'll get to 50, then you get to 100, and you'll just keep going. and all the interesting experiences you'll have with these people, man. And it's just be so much fun because then you can say, look, I knew these people before they were big, or I knew this person, I had this person. You could just brag about it and talk about all the people that you've met. And like I said, I'll talk to people about the people I've met. You guys, I'm like, hey man, you guys gotta go check out these guys that got
You're
check the
gonna be
L.I.F.E
with us
podcast.
forever. Yeah, you're gonna be with us forever. I'm always gonna remember you, honestly and
Guys,
truthfully.
I appreciate it,
WP.
man. I really do. Like, listen, guys, you can reach out anytime. Like, I'm always around. Any question, anything like that. Like I said, I'll talk to some people and see what other people I can send your way for sure. Anybody I feel like will fit in that category that might be interesting for you, I'll send them over and have them talk to you. And things like that too. And I'll be watching too. I want to see when you hit 20. You guys need to tag me. When we hit 20, we need to celebrate it. We need to get together and have a conversation on number 20 because that'll
Yeah,
be.
20, we'll bring you back for episode 20. What about that?
Let's
That's
do
a
it. Hell
deal?
yeah, let's go. Yeah, sign me up.
Let's do
Without a
it.
question, I'll be here for 20. I will clear the damn schedule, bro. Let me tell you. Hey, I got things to do. I got places to be. Damn it.
All right. Yeah, we'll have you back episode 20. It's gonna come soon. Like, we're excited about it.
I'm
now, so
excited, man. I'm excited for y'all guys. I love it. I think what you guys are doing is great. The fact you're having the open conversation is great. And like I said, man, I'm looking forward to celebrate number 20 with y'all.
Yeah, for sure. We appreciate that.
Definitely.
Yeah, any closing words? Not saying what you want to tell the people.
Guys, talk about your mental health. Can't say enough. Won't say enough. Remember to ask how your day. Don't ask how your day is. Ask how your mental health is. Because at the rate we're going, we need to start talking about this now, not later. And if you ever need anything, reach me out. You know where to find me on Spotify, all the way down to Pandora Radio, guys. I don't do this just for fun. I do this because it's something I'm passionate about, guys.
Love that right there. Love that right there.
You know what I'm saying? WP, thank you for joining. Thank you for being here.
Definitely, guys. Appreciate it. It was a great time.
Yeah, it's really nice having you here. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying, episode 20, you're back. Episode 20, you're back.
I'm waiting for the invite, goddammit. Okay, I'm watching that inbox. I better see him.
Got you.
Pete, I'm going to level 20. I'm there. Okay, without a question. Pete, what are you doing? I'll be here for episode 20. I don't know about y'all, but I'm gonna be here. Okay.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I'm
I
looking forward to it. I
appreciate
really
that,
am. I'm gonna be
man.
watching that. I'm watching the countdown go. I'm like, all right, we're at 19. Where the hell's my invite, dude? I'll be inboxing you guys. Yo, where the hell's my invite, dude? We're at 20. Let's go. Let's do it.
Yeah. WP, man, I appreciate you for tuning in with us and helping us out, Pete, and helping out the people, especially, to hearing your story, because your story was very, very, very different. You came out a way better person, and that's definitely something to, congratulate yourself for.
Thanks,
and
dude.
us congratulate
so
you as well. And I want to thank you for tuning in, Pete. I want to thank you all for tuning in the chat as well. Thank you, Dede, for coming in here, leading the questions and leading the talks, man. I just thank all of you guys for tuning in, all of you guys for coming in.
Guys, come
L.I.F.E
check out
podcast,
episode
man.
20. I'll be back. God damn it. I'll be waiting for that invite. You better believe we'll be hounding them for it, too.
You heard him.
L.I.F E podcast official.
L.I.F E podcast official, man. All right, stream. We're going to catch you guys, man. Peace out. Hope you guys enjoyed this. We have Pete. We got Dede. We got Perry. We out this. Let's do it.